What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hello everybody. I gotta say, I still get excited every time I watch that video, and then every time I see all of you come on in. And thank you, John. I don't know how you do it, but you're always one of the first ones in. And of course, Mary, Marlene, Guru Nam. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Well, I think we might have made it. What does that mean? Well, it was 2 years ago that this thing called a pandemic started, and everything started shutting down. And the pandemic totally gave rise to these online shows that I do. It's how Saturday Night Live was born, and then my Straight Talk show, and my Sacred Sunday show, and now the Awakening World. But I think the pandemic, hopefully, is finally dissipating to the point that we can start really, I don't want to say go back to normal, because normal wasn't good. Normal wasn't healthy. We needed to make big changes, and that's a lot of what the shows have been about. We've always been here to provide you with inspiration and information, and we'll certainly be continuing to do that. And I do think it's the end of that chapter. Our guests, our keynote today is the TwinRay. And I didn't even know the TwinRay 2 years ago. I met them through Deborah Giusti. Thank you, Deborah. And I have really come to appreciate how blessed we are to have this deep connection with them, because they're the real deal. I'm 66, and I've been on a spiritual path my whole life. And because I was a television producer at a really early age 23, I won my first Emmy Award. So I had a certain amount of power, and I've met a lot of gurus, a lot of famous teachers, almost every famous author I was interviewing 30 years ago. And of all the people I've met, I want to say, honestly, and you're my closest family, so, I'm kind of having a little chat with my closest friends, those of you that come in early. Of all the people I've met, and I've been to India, and I've met a lot of famous people and hung out with them, and back in the day got on high with some of them. I want to tell you that the TwinRay are the cleanest, wisest, most balanced individuals that I've met in this journey. They're real. They are who they say they are. They're incredibly generous. They're incredibly wise. They are pretty close to enlightened, and they're happy people, and they're really amazing. And so I'm delighted that we have this special friendship with them. And as I've been talking to them, and I'm blessed because I get to talk to them, a few times a week, they've been really talking about how this new spring for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, autumn for those down under, is really going to be a powerful, powerful season, and a time for us to really do a lot of cleansing, to really clear out our system as best as we can, and to really move even more forward into who we truly are, the divinity of our true beings. And so I'm sharing that with you because I really want you to take in tonight, because we've put together a really great show. Now, every show I do, honestly, I think is a great show. So I'll be honest about that. Like after every show, I go, that was a great show. And this show hasn't started yet. I mean, we're just in the opening minutes, but we've got wonderful music. 5 different musical artists. 3 artists during the main show, and then Fanny and Vigari and Omashar will be playing during the after show. And all the artists are very heartful and beautiful. So we're going to have this wonderful music, and then we're going to take in the wisdom of what the TwinRay have to share. And so I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about it. Also, since your closest family, I want to let you know 2 things. One is we have opened up the registration for our new season. And of course, the new season will officially start on Friday night, April 1st. So keep the Zoom room links that you have, and we'll use those tonight, tomorrow, and next week. But then when you do register, we're hoping you'll register today, because for those of you that register today at the $35 level or higher, and we really appreciate any level you come in at, but for those of you that come in at the higher levels, you get to join Eden, Amadora, and I tomorrow. We're going to be doing a Zoom meeting style, and we're going to really use it to kind of take what we're seeing tonight and supercharge everyone to have a really powerful, powerful new season. So I hope to see all of you on camera. And if you do join us tomorrow, turn your cameras on. It's really nice to be able to see everybody. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. The other thing, and you're the very first people to hear this, is that I am going to be teaching my first actual course that I've taught in 2 years. I used to teach a course every 3 months. And then the pandemic hit, I got focused with these shows, but I am going to be starting a new course. And the details aren't even up yet. The details will be up, and I'll send out a notice midweek. But it is going to be a 12-week course, all about our best relationship tips and tools. A lot of my love coaches are going to be joining me. It'll start on April 2nd with a bonus class, and then the main course starts on April 9th, and it's going to be Saturday mornings. So put that into your consciousness. How would you like to get together and really learn my best relationship tools for awakening into higher consciousness, and also for our communication and all of that? So you're the very first people hearing about that. And I'll send out an email to everybody with all the details later on in the week. So that's my exciting news. And we are going to start with the TwinRay. I spent actually a couple of hours with them earlier this week, and we did a pre-record. And we're going to start with the pre-record of them talking about what's happening astrologically. So that's actually just for you, the Zoom roomers, get to hear what's happening astrologically. Now, this first video lasts about 4.5 minutes, and then they had an internet snag, so I stopped the recording, and I'll come back on, say hello, and continue with part 2. But here's what the TwinRay have to say about the astrological meaning of this particular time that we're in right now. And let me get ready to show this. TwinRay part 1. Here we go. Okay, I'll see you in 4.5 minutes. Hello, dear friends. As you can see, I am here with the beloved TwinRay ShekinaMa and Sanandaji. And they have become my personal inspiration, their vibration, the way they live their life in such gratitude and generosity. and service is what I aspire to. I want to be a TwinRay when I grow up, um, and and their teachings and what they've shared about this new spring season inspired me to dedicate not only tonight's show, but our entire season to the teachings that they offer. So thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules to share your wisdom and your inspirations with the Global Peace Tribe. And I guess maybe I'll just start by asking you, from your perspective, where we are culturally from an astrological and energetic point of view.
First of all, thank you so much for that beautiful, heartfelt introduction and sharing. You know how much we love and support you, and anything that we can offer that's going to continue to bring hope, continue to deepen the love in everyone's hearts, we're here to do.
Yes, and it's always beautiful to spend time with the Global Peace Tribe and be a support for this beautiful global awakening that is taking place, and the commitment that you have to really support and expand this to the world is beautiful. So it's always a yes, yes, yes to support you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anytime you ask, yes, it's easy.
And so the global perspective from a high astrological perspective, the shift of the energy that's playing out, especially right now for spring in the Northern Hemisphere, there's a beginning of this renewal, yes, but it's also this next stage of an alchemy cycle. Now we'll start astrologically and globally because that pertains to the entire world. Right now, many have already heard about the Pluto return cycle that's playing out. That came into full potency last month in February, and it has 3 lifting points throughout this year. So we're in the first phase of that. And so this is a time after the last 2 years of inner reflection, which was really essential, is for people to can't go outside so much, have to go inside their heart, inside their being. And for the ones that have done that, we are sure that there's been a lot of self-discovery, that a lot of leaps and bounds have happened with that deepening of truth.
And what's so important about Pluto is that Pluto is the gateway to the underworld. It is a gatekeeper into the underworld. And what really is the underworld? The underworld is the unconscious. It is the mind that is hidden, buried, and covered up beneath the rubble, essentially. And what we've experienced in this world is exactly that. It's that which has needed to come to the surface is coming to light. Because that's what everything does. Everything seeks light. Everything seeks sun in order to bloom, to blossom, to grow, and to be nourished. And as Pluto continues its return, what you're going to find is a return back to the heart. Because the only way through this period of time is through love, is through the heart. And that's one of the most beautiful things about Pluto. If you were to look at Pluto, you would see
Sorry about that. You caught me not quite ready. So let me take us into part 2. And I hope you guys are enjoying what they have to say about the astrological part of all of this. Here we go. Here we go.
truly the only way to get through this time period is through love, is through the heart of love and true compassion for humanity, through the earth, to understanding the connection to the elements and recognizing the importance of how the stars are not only in the sky, but are in fact within you. Now, when we take a look at the Pluto return, what's so interesting about it is that it is returning humanity to love. Why is that? Well, for starters, because Pluto again is the underworld. It's the unconscious realms. It's that which has been hidden, buried, and covered up that is now being brought back into light, back into awareness, thus creating a greater awareness for the whole of humanity. But if you look at Pluto, there's a stamp on it of a heart. Now, what's interesting about this is that, yes, it looks like a heart, but it's not a complete heart. And so what Pluto is asking is complete this heart, is return back to your own individual hearts to connect with the entire collective heart so that Pluto can return you back to love.
And when we speak about Pluto, we're not just speaking of it at a level of something external to you. It's that part of your own mind, it's that part of your own being that has that unconscious nature to sometimes suppress. But Pluto is that transformer that brings up everything that has been suppressed, everything that has been hidden. Because what we associate Pluto with is that deliverer. Because he sits on the edge of the Kuiper belt, and beyond the Kuiper belt, there's all these higher dimensional planets that have a very long orbit. And the orbit, when they were in close proximity with our solar system, wasn't until the last golden age, which was around anywhere from 12 to 24,000 years ago. And so that cycle of time for these planets to take these long cycles, what happens is that when they come into close proximity, there's a broadcast. And that broadcast then is awakened in the collective mind, the collective heart, the collective fields. And so these energies that these archetypal planets represent are in fact aspects of your own archetypal nature. And Pluto, in order to access that higher dimensional perspective, that higher ascended version of yourself, your divine nature, you have to go through the deep unconscious. You have to purify that. And so for these last 2 years, humanity has been given ample opportunity to go within, to really unmask the fears, unmask the traumas, unmask the dramas, the stories that people cling to in order to give themselves an identity. And Pluto represents that Platonic energy, that powerful energy is representing the dissolution of the I, the individual, the one is in divide, individual in divide, removing that division and embracing the unity. Sometimes it takes a very courageous soul to do that. And so for anyone that's really been at the forefront of going deeper inside themselves to awaken to a greater truth, an eternal truth, what we feel it's so essential that by doing that work, when spring comes along and there's this new alchemical cycle, it's not like you have to jump or leap into spring or spring forward by effort. You are gracefully held into that because this new cycle is basically bringing forth this new opportunity to embrace life through the eyes of gratitude, the heart of appreciation. And that's really the same message that has been spoken of for so long, continuously. But what tends to happen is humans forget about and take for granted the very blessings that we have to even have human contact, to even have the privileges that we have in life, just to even go to the store and go get fresh produce and be able to have all the luxuries that we have to this day. There's so many things that are forgotten, and we really feel it's so essential that this time, as we're moving into this new cycle, to really reflect on the last 2 years, reflect on your whole life if you must. Yeah. And just look for the aspects that sometimes you take for granted. And a really beautiful practice is that every morning and every night is just reflecting on the miracle of life, the gift of life. And we're great advocates for that always, just to remind you really what's important. You know, the world will play its song and dance, and it will go into different chaotic spirals that are, chaos is just finding new order. That's all it is. Anytime there's chaos, you find the center, the heart of it, the eye of it, to be the change that then can permeate that. And the more that comes to that central golden pillar, that eye of stillness, the more that the awakened collective do that, the more that we can all transmute for the ones that have forgotten how to, and transmute and transcend the limitations that humanity perceptually may be facing, but truly isn't.
As always, what you share, and I don't want to watch over and over because it's a transmission that I take in. But I also want to bring in a very practical question. So, of course, we all know it comes back to love and what you just said about, okay, find the center.
Yes.
So, how do we on the human level do that? Either when we have personal drama going on in our life, or someone we deeply love and care about that we have empathy and compassion for, or when we are so shocked and in compassion for what's happening on a global scale. And of course, the war in Europe, who would have thought would hear those words in contemporary times, war in Europe, has also shaken a lot of people. It's a big deal for a lot of people. So how do we find that coming back into ourself while remaining compassionate and demonstrating care and compassion, whether it's local or global?
What we can...
I just stopped it because we've got 7 minutes before the start of the main show. And they go into a pretty lengthy answer. So you're going to have to stay tuned, and you'll hear the answer to that question. But I want to use this as a moment to interact with all of you a little bit. And I want to welcome all of you that I see. I see the Wild Abbot of Mystic Monastery. Jerry's with us. I'm going to put the spotlight on you, Jerry, and you can smile. People always enjoy watching you and watching you dancing. And are you in Puerto Rico or in Pennsylvania? We're not hearing you. Yeah, we see the mouth moving and your internet's on and you're not muted, but for some reason we're not hearing you. So anyway, we love you. And Omoshar is back. There he is. Hey, buddy.
In sunny Colorado from sunny Peru.
Oh, and you're muted. You're not muted, but we can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me? Great. Zoom preferences. Audio.
Not happening. Welcome.
It is. Now you can hear me.
There we are. Now we can hear you.
So it's beautiful to be back, beautiful to see everybody, and I've been tuning in somewhat, and from sunny Peru to sunny Colorado, what a blessing.
Well, it's good to have you. And are you going to do a song for us in the after show tonight?
I would love to. Thank you so much for the invite. Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Absolutely. It's going to be an amazing night for music. Really, really good night for music. So I'm excited about that. Welcome home. We missed you.
Thank you, sir.
Although it was amazing how you even tuned in from Peru a couple of times. That was pretty cool. And again, a reminder that we are designing our upcoming shows. The April shows and the first couple shows of May are actually already booked in terms of what our themes are going to be. Next weekend, Kristen Hoffman is my co-host. It's going to be about death. We've got some really amazing people coming in to talk to us about death, dying, and changing our relationship to death. The first weekend of April, it's going to be another collaboration with Relation Flicks. And so you'll get a chance to meet more relationship authorities. The weekend after that, Science, Spirituality, and Consciousness, April 8th through 10th. Then after that, we're going to be doing a whole special reunion show, Saturday Night Live reunion, and celebrating that we will have completed 2 years, 111 weeks of every Saturday night doing a show. And so that's going to be kind of an anniversary show. Then after that, it's Earth Day weekend. Then we're collaborating with the New Living Expo and going to have their best speakers. And then after that, collaborating with the Evolutionary Leaders Network. So we've got some really, really fun stuff planned, and definitely want for all of you to be a part of it. And let us know, what you'd like to see. Who are some of your favorite speakers? Who are some of the people we haven't had on yet that you'd like to have on? Would like to say that. I'm going to read a few comments, and if you put some of the comments in, please do so. Jeff Colbrick writes, "Our mind has been likened to the workshop of God, for it is here that the tools of thought consciously may fashion destiny, may carve out a new future. Levolution is the solution." And I appreciate that. Jeff writes, "Levolution is the solution," over and over to drill it into our brains. So thank you for that. Yeah. So Debbie, do me a favor. Let Honey of the Heart know that it's not opening, and ask if they want me to go to Justin's website first.
I did just ask him, so I'll let you know.
Great. Thank you so much. And I'm going to put the spotlight on Debbie for a minute. This is kind of more of a family time. So there she is. There's Debbie. And she is, of course, she does a great job supporting us and getting all those links in there. And thank you, Debbie. We love you. Also, if you missed last night's show, it was amazing. It was very powerful. It's one of those shows, get a piece of paper and a pen or another place where you can write, because we gave so many links. But we had a number of members of the Evolutionary Leaders Network, and they shared what they're up to. And it was very, very powerful. So if you get a chance, go back. And I guess the last thing I'll just share is, we have this website, I should say a YouTube channel. I'm going to pull it up while I talk. It's the Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel. And I'm putting a lot of energy into it. I put a couple of hours every week into building it. And I'm going to pull it up, show it to you. And this is where you guys can go and find all of our previous shows. So here it is. It's the Global Peace Tribe on YouTube. And what I've done is I take kind of our most dynamic segments, and I've created a playlist at the very, very top where you can get what I think, I don't want to say the best because I don't want to be competitive, but some very special segments from some of our most illustrious and dynamic speakers. So, and then this is where you can catch all of the previous Awakening World episodes. These are the shows that have kind of been the most popular entire shows, including Saturday Night Live. All of our different trailers. That's a good way just to get a reminder of what each show was. And then you can pull and watch the main show. This is a playlist that I put together of my favorite interviews. And then you get into the last season of Saturday Night Live, all of my Sacred Sunday shows, all of the Straight Talk shows, and so on and so forth. So definitely get into the habit of going to the Global Peace Tribe YouTube channel. All right, we are about to go live on Facebook, and I got a couple things to do to pull that together. And you also are going to see our brand new Spring Equinox video created just for this weekend.